Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be working through the Math 2020 January CSEC paper, and we'll be working from question 1 to 60, which is the entire paper. Before we go ahead, if you're new to this channel, please click the subscribe button and also the notification bell so you know when I release new videos. And the paper that we'll be working is non-calculator, so you do not require a calculator. So let's go ahead and start with question 1. Question 1. What percentage of 40 is 8? We know that 150 will be way too large for us to have 8 as the answer. And A, which is 5, is way too small. So our options are B and C. We're now going to find 40% of 20. So we'll write 40 divided by 100 multiplied by 20 over 1. We're going to cancel the zeros, and solving that we'll have 4 times 2 is equal to 8 divided by 1 times 1, which is 8, sorry. So our answer is B. Question 2. We have 2 over 3 to the power of negative 2 is equal to, and we need to find that value. So rewriting our question, we have 2 to the power of negative 2 divided by 3 to the power of negative 2. So I'm gonna show you step by step on how we're gonna get our value. So as we know, if you know indices, the rule of indices, we know that a to the power of negative 2 would equal to 1 over a to the power of a positive 2. So we put the number over 1 over the number, and that changes our power. So we're going to do the same thing for our question. If we have 1 over 2 to the power square, and then that's divided by 1 divided by 3 squared, our powers are positive. So let's work our fractions. Rewriting, we have 1 over 2 to the power of 2 divided by 1 over 3 squares. So we're going to solve that, which is we multiply and we flip the fraction. So we have 1 over 2 squares multiplied by 3 squares over 1. Solving that, we'll have 3 squares divided by 2 square, and then simplifying that, we'll have 3 squares is 9 and 2 squares is equal to 4. So our answer is 9 over 4, which is D. Now solving question 3. We have square root of 17 square minus 15 square. What we need to do is find the value for 17 squared and the value for 15 squared, subtract that, and then square root. So 17 multiplied by 17, working that, we put our 0 placeholder, then 1 times 7, 7, 1 times 1 is 1. 7 multiplied by 7 is 49. 7 multiplied by 1 is 7, plus the 4 gives us 11, and then adding those, we have 9, 8, 2, which is 289 as our value. Now we're going to solve 15 square, so that's 15 multiplied by 15. Put our 0 placeholder, then we have 1 multiplied by 5 gives us 5, and then 1 times 1 is 1. 5 times 5 is 25, and we put our 5 in, and then 5 times 1 is 5, plus the 2 from the 25 gives us 7. Adding those up now, we have 5, and then 7 plus 5 is 12, so we write the 12 outside, and we put 2 in, and then we have 1 plus the 1 outside, which gives us 125. 225, sorry. Now rewriting our equation, we have 289 minus 225. And then square rooting that. If we to find the 289 minus 225, we're going to have 64. Then the square root of 64 is equal to 8. So our answer would be C. Next question. We need to find the square root of 191 lies between various values. Looking at it, we already know that our value cannot be 45 and 46. And then A, which is 11 and 13. We already know the square of 11 is 121. That's way too low. And then 13, that's going to be too much of a margin. So our viable options would be B and C. So let's find 14 square. So that's 14 multiplied by 14. We put our 0, which is our placeholder. 1 times 4 gives us 4. 1 times 1, 1. Then 4 times 4 is 16. So we put our 6. And then 4 times 1 is 4. Plus the 1 gives us 5. Then adding that up, we have 6, 5 plus 4 is 9, and then the 1 gives us 196, which is close to 191. Therefore, our answer would be C, which is between 13 and 14. Question number 5. We have 99 multiplied by 101 has the same value as this question. When you're multiplying a number, for instance, 2 multiplied by 3, we know that is 6. Or we could have multiplied 2 multiplied by 2, which is 4, plus 2, which would give us 6. So therefore, A nor B could be our options, neither C, and D would be the answer that would give us the same value as 99 multiplied by 101. Six. There are 40 students in a class. Girls make up 60% of the class. 25% of the girls wear glasses. How many girls in the class wear glasses? So first we need to find how many girls are in the class. So we have 60 over 100 multiplied by the 40 students over 1. Simplifying, so we take the zeros off. So we have 6 multiplied by 4, and that is equal to 24. And that is 24 girls in the class. The question now says that 25% of the girls wear glasses. So we now need to find 25% of 24 girls, which would be 25 over 100 multiplied by 24. Simplifying that, we know that 25 into 25 is 1, and then 25 into 100 is 4 times. Multiplying across, we have 1 times 24 is equal to 24, and 4 times 1 is equal to 4. Simplifying, we have 4 into 4 is 1, and 4 into 24 is 6. Hence, our answer is 6. And that is A. Question 7. If NA is equal to M, then the number of subsets of A can be expressed as, we know subsets can be expressed as 2 to the power of n. And since n is equal to m, therefore our answer would be 2 to the power of m, which is a. Question A. 8. Which of the following statements describe the set of integers greater than -3 but less than 6? A says that x is less than -3. Our question says greater, so A is out. Then B, yes. B says x is less than or equal to -3. So B is already out. So let's just take those off. And C says x is greater than or equal to. There's no equal, so C is also out. And D says x is greater x is greater than -3 and less than 6. Hence our answer. Question 9. Question 9 asks which of the following pairs of sets is an example of disjoint sets. So a disjoint set has nothing in common. So it's two circles without an intersection as shown on your right. So going through our options, we have A is equal to even numbers and E is equal to even numbers and F is equal to odd numbers. That has nothing in common, therefore A would be our answer. Going through our other options, we have P is equal to multiples of 2 and multiples of 3. Q is equal to multiples of 3. We know multiples of 2 is 2, 4, 6, 8, etc. And multiples of 3, 3, 6, 9. Therefore, 6 would have been common, so that's out. G is equal to multiples of 5 and H is equal to factors of 20. Multiples of 5 would be 5, 10, 15, 20. Factors of 20 would have been 20 as well, so that's out. And dx is equal to all numbers and rationals, and we already know all whole numbers are rational numbers, so that's out as well. 10. Given A is equal to 1, 3, 6, 8, 9, 12, and 15, and B is equal to 6, 9, 12, which of the following statements is true? So B is a subset of A, meaning that everything that's inside of B is also in A. And in B, we can see we have 6, 9, and 12. Therefore, our answer would be A because everything in B is also in A. Moving on to 11. We have the 30 students in Teacher May's class have either a dog, D, or a cat, C, or none of the two. All the students who have a cat also have a dog. If NC is equal to 12 and D is equal to 16, which of the following Venn diagrams below correctly represents this information? We can clearly see that it says all students who have a cat also have a dog. So from that information, that word, we know that D is going to be our answer because all of the students that have a cat also has a dog, which is D. Question 12. In which of the following Venn diagrams is the region A intersect B complement shaded? B complement means that B is not shaded. So that's our key. We know that A would be out and also D is out as B is shaded. Now looking at B and C, we see that in C, the intersection is shaded, so therefore B is our answer. Question 13. Let's zoom in a little. There we go. Question says if EC $2.50 is equivalent to US $1, then EC $20 is in US dollars is, so we need to find the equivalent of EC 20 in US. Let's write our information. We have EC 250 EC $2.50 is equal to US $1, and we have EC $20 is equal to US a certain amount. From what we can see so far, we know that the EC is lower than the US. Therefore, our EC, which is 20, our US is going to be lower than 20. So therefore, that's automatically C and D is out. So our answer is either A or B. But let's find out. To find this, we need to divide our 20 EC by our 2.50 EC. And when dealing with decimals, it can be a bit hard to work. So we know 2.5 is this multiplied by 2 would give us 5. So we're going to work with 5 instead of 2.5. Okay? So working this, we have 20 divided by 5. And simplifying that, we have 5 into 5, 1. And 5 into 20 is 4. So that's 4. And since we multiplied it by 2 earlier, we're going to do the same. So it's 4 multiplied by 2, which gives us $8 US. So our answer is B. Moving on to question 14. It says the simple interest on $6 for T years at 5%, let's zoom in, at 5% per annum is $120. The value of T is, so we need to find the value of T. First, we need to write our formula. So we know simple interest is equal to PRT, principal rate time, divided by 100. And we need to find T, our time. So we need to make T the subject of the formula. And T would equal to SI, which is the simple interest multiplied by 100 because it was dividing earlier. And then that is going to be divided by PR since that was multiplying by T. So we do the opposite. And now we just substitute our values. So we have T now is equal to SI is 120 multiplied by our 100. Divided by PR. So P would be 600. Multiplied by the rate, which is 5%. And that answer would be A. Next question. Given that y varies directly as x and y is equal to 19 when x is equal to 152, which of the following equations represents the relationship between x and y? Varies directly means when y goes up, x goes up. Or when y goes down, x goes down. It does the same thing. X and y does the same thing. The equation for direct proportionality is y is equal to kx. We've been given the y value and the x value, so therefore we need to find the value of k. So y is equal to 19 and that is equal to k multiplied by 152. Let's just write it properly. Sorry. So we need to find k, so therefore we divide 152. So we have 19 divided by 152 is equal to k. Simplifying the fraction, we have 19 into 19 once, and 19 into 152 goes 8 times. So our k value is equal to 1 over 8. And if we were to rewrite our original equation, in order to get our answer, our full equation, we'll have y is equal to 18x. So our answer would be C. Question 16. A man's annual salary is 45,000. His tax-free allowances, his tax-free allowances total 13,000. He has to pay a tax of 20% on his taxable income. The tax payable is, and we need to find that amount. From this question, we can take away that his total salary is 45 and he has a free allowance of 13, which is non-taxable. So therefore, to get his taxable amount, we subtract the 13,000 from 45,000, and we'll get 45 from 13. We have, we'll have 32,000. Now this is taxed 20%, so we need to find 20% of 32,000. So we have 20 divided by 100 multiplied by 32,000 divided by 1. Simplifying this, we'll have the 2 zeros off of the 32,000, 2 zeros off of 100. Simplifying this, we have 20 multiplied by 320, which would equal to 6,400, which is B. Next, we have question 17. A man pays 60 cents for 200 meter cubes of gas used, plus a fixed charge of $13.75. How much does he pay when he uses 55,000 meter cubes of gas? First, we need to find how much 200 meter cubes of gases is in the 55,000 meter cube that he used. So what we're going to do is divide the 55,000 by 200 to get that value. Then we multiply it by the 60 cents plus our fixed charge. So that fixed charge you have to pay no matter what. So 55,000 divided by 200 would equal to 2 divided by 5 would give us 2, and then 1 over with the 5 gives us 15. 2 into 15, 7, and then the 1 with the 0, which gives us 10, 5, 275. And then that is multiplied by 60 cents, so that's 0.6, not 60, it's cents, so it's 0.60. And then we add our $13.75. And we need to multiply our 275 by 0.60. So since this is not calculator, we need to work this out by hand. So I'll just quickly show you how to work that. We have 275 multiplied by 0.60. We know that, 60. We know that anything that is multiplied by 0 would be equal to 0, so therefore the only thing we're multiplying is the 6. So we put our for 0 placeholder, then we multiply 6 by 5, which would give us 13. We put our 0, then 6 multiplied by 7 would give us a value of 42 plus the 3, which would give us 45. We put our 5, and 6 times 2 would give us 12 plus the 4 would make it 16. And we put the entire 16. We have 2 decimal places, so our answer would be 165. Then remember, we need to add this value back to our $13.75. So adding this, we'll have 165 plus $13.75 would equal to, so that gives us 178.75, which is A. Moving on to 18. Our question reads, a car presently valued at $12,000 depreciates at the rate of 10% per annum. What will be the value of the car 1 year later? So that's 10% less than the current price. So 10% multiplied by 12,000. Simplifying this, we'll take the 2 zeros off of the 12,000, the 2 zero off of the 100. Multiplying 10 by 120, we'll have 1,200. And now we need to subtract 1,200 from 12,000. So yeah, we have 12,000 minus 1,200. And then simplifying that, we'll have 0, 0, 8, 10. So we'll have 10,800. And that is A. Question 19. A dinner at a restaurant was advertised at $60 plus 18% tax. The total bill for this dinner was... So, from our question, we know that the dinner was advertised for 60 plus we paid an 18% tax. So that's 18% of 60% plus the 60%. So we need to find that 18% of 60. So we have 18 over 100 multiplied by 60 over 1. Take off the zeros. So we have 18 multiplied by 6, which would give us 108. And then 10 times 1 gives us 10. And we know 10 means we move 1 decimal place to the left. So our answer would be 10.8. And that is the tax. That is our tax for the dinner. So we need to add the $10.8 to the $60. So we have 60 plus 10.8, and that would equal to 70.8. Sorry, equals to 70.8. And that is B. Moving on to the next question. We have a store offers a discount of 10% to customers who spend more than $20. If a customer's total bill is $8, what will he actually pay? So we need to discount 20% of 80. Working this out, we have 10 over 100 multiplied by the bill, which is $80. over 1. So the 0 from the 80, from the 0 from the 1, and then the 0 from the 10. With the 0 from the 1, that's all marked off. So we have 8 as that discountable amount. So we subtract the 8 from 80 and we'll have our amount that we paid as $72, which is C. Question 21. This is algebra. We have 4 over 5x plus 2 over 5x. As we can see, our bases are the same. So once our bases are the same, all we need to do is add the top, the numerator. So we have the 5x as the denominator and 4 plus 2 as our numerator. And 4 plus 2 gives us 6 divided by 5x. So our answer is A. (22) It says if m multiplied by n is equal to the square root of m cubed minus n squared, then 5 multiplied by 2 is equal to, we know that m is equal to 5 and n is equal to 2 from what we just read. So to find our values, we need to substitute 5 and 2 everywhere, wherever we see m and n respectively. So we have the square root of 5 cubed minus 2 squared. Simplifying that, we're going to have 5 cubed is 5 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 5. So 5 times 5 times 5. And then that is subtracted by 2 multiplied by 2, which is the 2 squared. Simplifying this, we'll have square root. And then 5 cubes would be 5 times 5 is 25. And then 25 multiplied by another 5 would give us 125. And then 2 multiplied by 2 would give us 4. So the square root of 125 minus 4, which is 121. And from primary school, we know that the square root of 121 is equal to 11. So our answer is D. (23) Given that 3 brackets x minus 1 minus 2 brackets x minus 1 is equal to 7, the value of x is, so we need to find the value of x. What we need to do is multiply out our brackets and then simplify to find our x. What we have to do is multiply 3 by the x, 3 by the -1, -2 by x, and then -2 by -1. Simplifying this, we have 3 times x would give us 3x. Sorry, let's just change the color of our pens. Yes, so 3 times x would give us 3x. And 3 times -1 would give us -3, and then -2 by x is -2x, and -2 by -1 give us a +2 is equal to 7. We're going to group all of our like terms together. So we have 3x, -2x, -3, +2, 7. So rewriting that, we'll have 3x minus 2x minus 3 plus 2. Then we take over the 7, so that is minus 7. And that is all equal to 0. Simplifying this now, so 3x minus 2x would equal to x. Minus 3 plus 2 is -1. Minus 7 is equal to -8. And that is equal to 0. And then x would be equal to 8 because we're going to take the 8 over the equal sign. And that makes it a +8. And that gives us our answer as C, which is 8. Question 24. we have minus negative 2q minus 3q. So we just multiply our brackets out. So we have negative multiplied by negative 2q, and we know negative multiplied by negative is positive, hence positive 2q minus 3q. Simplifying this, we have 2 minus 3, which is a negative q. And our answer is C. Question 25. If x is equal to 4 and y is equal to 2, then the value of x squared plus 3y divided by xy is, we know our x and y value. Therefore, wherever we see x and where we see y, we put our 4 and 2 respectively. So we write in our equation, we have x cubed plus 3y divided by xy is equal to 4 cubed plus 3 multiplied by 2 divided by 4 multiplied by 2. Simplifying this, we have 4 cubed, which is 4 times 4 times 4, which would give us, not cubed, sorry, squared. So 4 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 4 is equal to 16, plus 3 multiplied by 2 is equal to 6, and 4 multiplied by 2 is 8, equal to 16 plus 6 is 22, sorry, and divided by 8. Our answer is shown as a mixed number, so we need to make this into a mixed number. So we have 22 over 8. We know 8 goes into 22 2 times, and then remainder 6, and then our denominator 8 remains the same. And then we can simplify this, so we have 2 into 6 3 times and 2 into 8 4 times. So our answer would be 2 3 over 4. And that is the same as D. So our answer is D. 26. If P over 5 is equal to 20, then P is equal to, all we need to do is make P the subject of the formula. So P would equal to 20 multiplied by 5, because we will be taking 5 over the equal sign. And since it's dividing, it will be multiplying. And that is the same as D. Question number 27, sorry. Item 27 refers to the following vectors, P and Q. P is equal to 3, 7, and Q is equal to negative 2, 5. The vector P minus Q is represented by, what we need to do is subtract our vectors. Our vector P is equal to 3, 7, P, and Q is equal to negative 2, 5. Subtracting these two, we'll have 3, 7, sorry, and then minus 2, and then minus 5. Simplifying this once again, we have a negative and a negative. So we know a negative and a negative is going to be a positive. So 3 plus 2 would equal to 5. And then 7 minus 5 is equal to 2. So our answer is 5 over 2. 5, 2. That is C. Moving on to the next question, 28. We have item 28 refers to the following. Sorry, let's just take this down a little. Item 28 refers to the following diagram of a parallelogram in which EF is parallel to HG, EH is parallel to FG, EF is equal to K, and vector EH is equal to M. 28 is asking us EG expressed in terms of K and M is So EG is there, and E to G, one part is E to H, then H to G, and then E to F and F to G. If we use the red, then we'll have a positive K minus M. And if we use the yellow, we'll have minus M plus K. So let's write down our options. We will have K minus M or minus M plus K. And the option that we have here is K minus M, which is B. Moving on to 29, we have if 5xy is equal to 4, 10, 20, then the values of x and y are, what we'll do is multiply our 5 to our xy and our 4 to 10 and 20. Rewriting it, we have 5xy is equal to 4, 10, 20. Now multiplying, we have 5x, and then we have 5y, and that is equal to 4 multiplied by 10, which is 40, and then 4 multiplied by 20 is 80. So our xy is equal to 40 and 80. So 5xy would be equal to 40, and then 5y would be equal to 80. So what we're going to do now is just solve for x and y. 5x is equal to 40. So x is equal to 40 divided by 5. 5 into 5, 1, and 5 into 40 is equal to 8, sorry. So our answer is 8 for x. And then solving for y, we have 5y is equal to 80 divided by 5. Y is equal to 80 divided by 5, sorry. So y is equal to 5 into 5 is 1, and then 5 into 8 is 1 with 3 remainder. So 5 into 30 is 6. So that's 16. So our answer y is equal to 16 and x is equal to 8, which is the same as B. Item 30 refers to the following matrices A and B. We have A is equal to 1, 3, negative 3, and then second row we have 3, 0, 5, and B is equal to 3, 2, 0, 0, 1, 5. 30, the matrix product AB is, so we're going to work this on a different paper because we need the space. So we have A is equal to, let's rewrite our matrix. A is equal to 1, 3, negative 3, 3, 0, 5. And B is equal to 3, 2, 0, and 0, 1, 5. We need to multiply AB. So our product would now be, we need to multiply our row by our first column in B. So we multiply the rows by the columns. Yeah? So firstly we'll have 1 multiplied by 3 plus 3 multiplied by 2. And then negative 3 plus negative 3 multiplied by 0. Then we'll have the first row again multiplied by the second column in B. We have 1 multiplied by 0 plus 3 multiplied by 1 plus negative 3 multiplied by 5. Then multiplying our second row in A multiplied by our first column in B. We will now have 3 multiplied by 3 plus 0 multiplied by 2 plus 5 multiplied by 0. Then we have the second row in A again multiplied by the second column in B. And we have 3 multiplied by 0 plus 0 multiplied by 1. Sorry, let's just erase and write it back. Plus 0 multiplied by 1. Plus 5 multiplied by 5. Then we now need to simplify this. So we have AB is equal to open bracket 1 times 3 is 3 plus 3 times 2 is 6 plus 0, which is negative 3 times 0. Any number multiplied by 0 would always give us 0. Then we have 1 multiplied by 0, which is 0 plus 3 times 1 is 3. Negative 3 multiplied by 5 is negative 15. Then we have 3 multiplied by 3 is 9 plus 0 multiplied by 2 is 0. And then 5 multiplied by 0 is 0. Plus 0 multiplied by 3 is 0 plus 0 multiplied by 1 is 0 plus 5 times 5 is 25. Now simplifying this once again, we'll have AB is equal to open bracket 3 plus 6 minus 0 is equal to 9. And 3 minus 15 is equal to negative 12. Then 9 plus 0 is equal to 9. And then 0 plus 25 is equal to 25. And that answer would be option, I can't remember what we wrote. Let's just have a look once again. What was our answer? Let's see. 9, 9, negative 12, 25. Yes, so it's A. (31). Let's zoom in. Our question says, the volume of a cube whose edge is 6 centimeters long is... So we know the volume of a cube, all of its sides are equal firstly. So the volume of a cube would equal to, V is equal to L cubed. Since we know our L, we can calculate our volume. So we have V is equal to 6 cubed, which is equal to 6 multiplied by 6 multiplied by 6 again, 3 times. Simplifying this, we'll have 6 times 6 is 36 multiplied by 6. And then simplifying that once again, we'll have 36 multiplied by 6, which is 216 centimeters cubed. And looking at our options, we know neither A nor B could have been our options because 6 squares is already 36. And we're dealing with 3 6s, so that's already out. So D is our answer. Question 32. So we have, if it took a speedboat 9 hours to travel a distance of 1,080 kilometers, what was its average speed in kilometers per hour? We first need to write our formula. So speed is equal to distance divided by time. We know our distance and we know our time, so substituting that we can find our speed. We have 1080 divided by 9 hours. So we can have 9 into 9 is 1, and then 9 into 10 is 1 with 1 remainder, so that's 18. 9 into 18 is 2, and then 9 into 0 is 0. So that's 120 kilometers per hour. And it's important to look at our units. So it's 9 hours and our distance is kilometers, okay? So that's C. Next question, 33. So we have 12,500 millimeters expressed in meters. Our units start from millimeters to centimeters to meters. From millimeters to centimeters, it's a difference of 10, and then centimeters to meters is 100. Dependent on which direction, if we're going from smaller to larger, we'd either multiply or divide. If we're going from millimeters to meters, or smaller from larger, we divide, and from a larger to a smaller, we multiply. Our question has 2,500 millimeters, and we're trying to convert this into meters. And from what we see above is we're trying to convert a smaller to a larger. Therefore, we need to divide. And if it takes 10 and then 100 from millimeters to centimeters to meters, therefore we're dividing by 1,000. And that's 3 zeros, so therefore we move 3 places to the left. So our answer is 2.5 meters, and that is B. So 33 is B. Now question 34. An aircraft leaves A at 16 hours and arrives at B at 19:30 hours. Traveling at an average speed of 550 kilometers per hour. A and B are in the same time zone. The distance from A to B in kilometers is, so we need to find the amount of time it takes for the aircraft to reach B from A. So it leaves at 16 hours and it arrives at 19:30. So that difference is 16, we start at 16, 17, 18, 19, and then 30 is half an hour, so that's 3.5 hours. So that's our T. Our speed is 550 kilometers per hour. So our formula, speed is equal to distance divided by time. We know our speed, so the distance we need to find, D is equal to S multiplied by T, since the T was dividing. And then we substitute our values now. So we have 550 multiplied by 3.5. And then so we'll have to solve that. So you can take your time and work that. But when we multiply 550 multiplied by 3.5, we'll have our answer as 1,925. That's 1,925 kilometers would be the distance. So that is D as our answer. Moving on to question 35. We have in a rectangular garden plot 50 meter long and 12 meter wide. An area of 80 meters square is used for a vegetable garden. What area of the plot is not used for vegetable gardening? So first we need to find how much the entire plot of the garden is. So that is 15 multiplied by 12. And simplifying this or multiplying it, we'll have 180 meter square. We know an area of 80 meters is used for the vegetable garden. So therefore we need to subtract that to know how much is not in use. So we have 180 meters square minus 80 meters square. And simplifying that, we'll have 100 meters square, which is not used for gardening. So that is B. 36. The distance around the lake is 8 kilometers. On a map, this distance around the lake is represented by a length of 2 centimeters. The scale on the map is... So we need to find the scale of the map for the lake. Similarly to what we did above, we need to find how much centimeters makes a kilometer. And we once again start from millimeters and we build up to kilometers. So we know it starts from millimeters to centimeters to meters to kilometers. From millimeters to centimeters, we know that's 10. Let's write this in green. Yes. And then centimeters to meters, that's 100. And then meters to kilometers is 1000. Now we need to find how much kilometers is per meter. And then we'll find how much kilometers makes a centimeter. So we have 1 kilometer would equal to 1000 meter. And 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter. And then 1 kilometer would be equivalent to 100,000 centimeters, which is the 100 from the centimeters to meters, and then the 1000 from meters to kilometers, yeah? So putting this in respect to our question, we have 8 kilometer is equal to 8 multiplied by 100,000, which would equal to 800,000 centimeters. Since our question says we have a length of 2 centimeters, so it's not per meter but per 2 centimeter length. Therefore, we need to divide our centimeter by 2 since the length is doubled. So 800 divided by 2, and we'll have that as 1 to every 400,000. So 800,000 divided by 2 is equal to 400,000, and that gives us our answer as D. Now to question 37. Item 37 refers to the following diagram not drawn to scale, which shows a cuboid. 37. The volume of the cuboid is 320 centimeters cubed and the height is 5 centimeters. If the cuboid has a square base, what is the length of one side of the base? So the volume of a cuboid is V is equal to length times breadth times height. And if it has a squared base, therefore the length would be the same. The length and the breadth would probably be the same. So let's say it's length square. So we'll have V is equal to length square times the height. We'll have 320 is equal to length squared times 5, which is the height. And the length squared would be equal to 320 divided by 5, since we'll be taking the 5 over the equal sign, and it's going to do the opposite, which is divide instead of multiplying. Simplifying this, we have length square is equal to 5 into 32. So we know 5 can go into 30. 5 6s is 30. And then we'll have 2 remainder. So that's 20, and that's 5 into 20 is 4, which is 64. And we're finding the value of L. So L would be equal to the square root of 64. And L is equal to square root 64 is equal to 8. Hence our answer is A. Question 38. A square has the same area as a rectangle with sides of length 9 centimeters and 16 centimeters. What is the length of the side of the square? Let's zoom in a little. Okay, so we have a rectangle and a square. Area of a rectangle. Let's draw our rectangle firstly. So area of a rectangle is equal to length times breadth. And the area of a square is equal to length times length, because the sides are equal. Area of a rectangle, we have 9 times 16. And simplifying that, we'll have 9 times 16 is equal to 144 centimeters square. Now finding the area of our square. We know the area is the same for both rectangle and square. So therefore the area is equal to 144 centimeters square, and that is equal to length square, which is L times L. To find the value of L, we now need to square root 144. So square root of 144 is equal to L. And as we know, square root of 144 is equal to 12. So L is equal to 12, and that is B. Our answer is B. Moving on to 39. It says the median of the numbers, and they've listed the numbers, is, so we need to find the median. The median is described as the middle number. So we're going to find that. So we strike off our 1 and 8, 1 and 7, 5 and 7, and 5 and 7 again. So now we're left with two numbers, which is 6 and 7. If we have two middle numbers, then we find the average between the two. So it's 6 plus 7 divided by 2. And 6 plus 7 is going to give us 13 divided by 2 is equal to 6.5. And that is C. Moving on to 40. It says item 40 refers to the following frequency table, which shows the time taken by 20 students. Sorry, let's bring this down a little more. Yes, time taken by 20 students to solve the maths problem. So we have the table there showing time and frequency. And 40 is asking us the lower class boundary of the interval 3 to 5 is, and let's highlight that, so 3 to 5. If we want to find the lower boundary of 3 to 5, then we need to find the lower limit, which is 3, and subtract 0.5 from that. So we'll have 3 minus 0.5, and that is equal to 2.5. So our lower class boundary would be equal to 2.5. And that is B. 41. Item 41 refers to the following table, which shows the frequency of scores obtained by students in a test. 41 asks us the modal score is, so we need to find the modal score. The modal represents the most recurring number, the number that recurs the most. And that is the score we ask for, not the number of students. And that value would be 8, because 12 students, which is the most amount of students, got 8. So that the modal score would be 8, because the most students got 8, and that is A. Question 42. Item 42 refers to the following diagram of a cumulative frequency curve which shows the mark obtained by 200 students on a test. 42, the median of the marks scored by 200 students, and median again is half. The middle, sorry, not half, middle. So if it's 200 students, then the middle would be 100, which is somewhere about there. Now we need to find the mark corresponding to that value. So we're going to get our marker. Let's use yellow. And we're going to plot that down to our x. And that's somewhere about there. So let's just draw that 90. Yes, so that is our mark. And that value would be, let's say that's 35, then that would be somewhere about 37.5. Yes, so that answer would be C. Item 43. Let's put this down a bit. Yes, item 43 refers to the following bar chart, which shows the ages of children who took part in a survey. 43, how many students took part in the survey? So we have our bar chart, and on our y-axis, we have the number of children. So we now need to add up all of the values that we have for the different ages. So that's 3 plus 4 plus 2 plus 5 plus 1. Adding that all up together now, we'll have 3 plus 4 would equal to 7 plus 2 gives us 9. Plus 5 gives us 14, and plus 1 gives us 15. So that's a total of 15 children taking part in the survey, and that is B. Question 44. We're asked 600 students write an examination. The probability of a randomly selected student failing the exam is 1/5. How many students are expected to pass? From the information that we've seen here, it says students failing the examination is 1/5. So we're going to find 1/5 of 600. Simplifying that, so we have 1/5 multiplied by 600, which is 600 over 5. Simplifying, we'll have 5 into 5, 1. 5 into 6 is 1. With 1 remainder, 5 into 10 is 2. And 5 into 0 is 0, so that is 120. But that's the amount that failed, that is expected to fail, the probability. So we need to subtract 120 from 600 to get the probability of those that will pass. So 600 minus 120 would give us 480 students passing, expected to pass, and that is C. Moving on. We're going to question 45. And item 45 refers to the following mapping diagram. The relationship that best describes the mapping in the diagram is, so looking at, this is about relations and functions. And looking at it, we can see it's not one-to-one, it's not one-to-many, but it is many going to one. So that's C. Item 46 refers to the following arrow diagram. The arrow diagram above best describes the relation A says y is less than x, and we can see that's not true. B, y is a factor of x. Y is a factor of x. No, that's not true either. And x is a multiple of y. No, that's not true because multiple goes up 2, 4, 6, 8, and that is impossible. Therefore, D, which is x is a factor of y, yes, that is correct. Moving on to question 47. It says, which of the following line graphs represent x is greater than negative 2 and x is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 4. Looking at our options, we can see they're all the same and none of them represents what we're being asking for, so all of them are actually incorrect. I think this might probably be an error on Ministry's behalf or the printing. Anyways, I'll go through how you'll find the answer for this. So we have our line graph. In the center we have 0, and then we're just going to number it. Let's number 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are negatives. And then we'll number the positives. Okay, so our question says x is greater than negative 2. So if it's greater than negative 2, then it has to start from negative 1. Greater than negative 2 starts from negative 1. And it says x is less than or equal to 4, so therefore it starts at 4 because it says it's equal. So it goes from negative 1 to 4, and that would have been our answer. Items 48 to 49 refer to the following graph of a quadratic function. 48, the maximum point of y is equal to 4x minus x squared is. So we need to find the maximum point. So let's zoom in to find that. So the top of the curve, that's where our maximum point is. And that is a y value of 4 and an x value of 2. So let's just plot that onto the various axes so you can see what I'm talking about. So that's 4. Our x is 2 and our y is 4. So 2, 4, which is C. Then our next question asks the values of, sorry, one second. Yes, the values of x at the points where y is equal to 4x minus x squared intersects y is equal to 0 are. So we need to find where y is equal to 0. So our equation is y is equal to 4x minus x squared. So when y is equal to 0, 4x minus x squared, we need to find the common number or expression inside of the brackets. So we'll have x, and x into 4x is 4, and x into x squared is equal to minus x. And we need to equate each to 0. So x is equal to 0. So that's finished. And then we have 4 minus x is equal to 0. And moving the x over the equal sign, we have 4 is equal to x. So our two values are x is equal to 4 and x is equal to 0. And that is A. Our answer is A. Moving on. We're now at question 50. So we're almost there. Which of the following represents the equation of a straight line? The equation of a straight line is written as y is equal to mx plus c. So we already know the c and d is already out because that has x squared, and we're not dealing with x squares in a line. That's only for a quadratic. So that's c and d gone. A is as well gone, so we already know B is the answer. Yeah, because that's 2x plus 3. 51. Which of the following sets is represented by the function x and x squared plus 3, where x has the value 0, 1, 2, 3? Okay, so for this, we'll have to substitute the x values in our function. By looking at it, I would be able to say that the answer would be D, because that's 3 squares. Looking at the last number, the 3 squared plus 3, that's 9 plus 3, 12, so 3 and 12. Anyways, let's work it out. So we have f, when f is equal to 0, we have f0, is equal to 0 squared plus 3. So we substitute wherever we see x, we'll substitute the values of x. So the first is 0. So we have 0 squared plus 3 is equal to 3. So our first box would be 0, 3. So that's when x is equal to 0. When f0 is the same as y, sorry, I'm a bit confusing here. Let me just rephrase that. So when f0 is the same as y. So when y is equal to 0, x is equal to 3. Going on again, when we have our y, we're going to find our y value. So we have f1, so that's 1 squared plus 3. And 1 squared is 1 plus 3 is equal to 4. So our x is 1 while y is 4. Then f2 is equal to 2 squared plus 3. So that's 2 squares. So that's 4 plus 3, which gives us 4 plus 3 is 7. So that's x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 7. And then finally, we're going to find for when x is 3. So f3 is equal to 3 squares plus 3. And that is equal to 3 squared, which is 3 threes, and that is 9 plus 3. And that is 12. So our x value would be 3. And our y value would be 12. So that's 312. And that gives us our answer as D. Next question, we have 52. And it says a line L is parallel to the line 2x minus 5y minus 8 is equal to 0. What is the gradient of line L? Once again, as we previously did in question 50, we know the equation of a line, and parallel lines, they're lines that they're in the same direction, but they do not touch. So therefore the gradient will be the same. It's in the same direction, it looks the same. And our equation of a line is y is equal to mx plus c. So we need to rearrange our equation to make y the subject of the formula. So we have 2x minus 5y minus 8 is equal to 0. We're going to have 2x minus 5y is equal to 8. So we're going to take the 8 across and it's going to become a positive. Then we're going to have a negative 5y is equal to 8 minus 2x, because we'll be taking the 2x across the equal sign. So it becomes a negative. Then we have negative 5 multiplied by y. So we need to find for y, make y the subject. So we move the 5. So it's going to divide. We have y is equal to 8 divided by negative 5 and negative 2x divided by 5. And the negative and negatives will cancel, which makes it positive. So we'll have y is equal to a positive 2/5 x minus 8 over 5. And our gradient mx, so y is equal to mx plus c, or m, which is going to be 2 over 5. And that is our gradient, which is 2 over 5. Item 53. Let's zoom in. Item 53 refers to the following diagram, which shows a translation. 53. In the diagram, the translation by which AB is mapped onto A dash B dash is represented by. So we need to find that value. Looking at our x values, 2, 4, we know that's a difference of 2. Same at the top, 5 and 7. That's a difference of 2 as well, which should be. And then looking at our y values, we have 5 and 6, which is a translation of 1 on the y-axis. And the same goes for above as well. Therefore, our translation would be 2 on the x and 1 on the y. B. Item 54 refers to the following diagram. In the diagram, PQ and RS are parallel. Which of the following best describes the relationship between P and Q? Looking at our diagram, we know this would be an alternate angle. And what it means by alternate angle is that the angles P and Q would be equal. It would be the same. So if angle P is 120, then angle Q would be 120. Therefore, our answer is no other than A, which is P is equal to Q. A ship sailed 8 kilometers due cast from A to B. It then sailed 6 kilometers due north to C. Which of the following diagrams best represents the path of the ship? What we will do is draw our diagram. First, let's draw our north, south, east, west. So south is at the bottom, north always on top, and then we, which is W to the left and east to the right. Then reading from what our questions say, we're going to draw our diagram. Let's choose a color. Okay, it says a ship sailed 8 kilometers through Cass from A to B. So that's 8 kilometers, and then let's label it A and B. Sorry about that. AB. And then it says it sailed 8 kilometers due north, so that's 6 kilometers due north, so that's 6 kilometers going up. And then that point will be C. Looking at our diagram, it looks like C. Yes. So it's C, our answer is C. Question 56. In each of the following diagrams, OA dash, the image of OA, which of the diagrams shows a reflection in the y-axis? So let's draw our diagram. Okay, let's draw a diagram and use our analysis in order to find our answer. Let's draw it in black. Okay, so OA is on our right hand side on top. Okay, and let's label, so YX. Good. Our y-axis would be everything on the left. So where our vertical line Y is, everything on the left is the y-axis. But dependent on where our line is drawn, that's where our reflection would be. So our line is between the top right. So therefore our reflection would be on the top left, and that would give our answer as B. In triangle ABC, angle A is equal to x degree. Let's zoom in. And angle B is equal to 2x. What is the size of angle C? So we're going to draw a triangle firstly. And label ABC. It says A is equal to x degrees, B is equal to 2x degree, and C is equal to unknown. From what we know about the triangle is that all of the interior angles will add up to 180 degrees. We already know 2, so therefore if we subtract those 2 from 180, we'll have our angle for C. So therefore C would be equal to 180 minus x minus 2x, which would give us 180 minus 3x, which is minus x minus 2x. And that is our answer, which is D. Moving on. Item 58 refers to the following diagram, which shows an enlargement. In the diagram, triangle ABC is mapped onto triangle A-B-C-, where O is the center of enlargement. What is the scale factor of the enlargement? Looking at our points on the x-axis, we can see that C and C' is 2 units apart, and A and A' on the y-axis is 2 units apart as well. So therefore our scale factor is 2. Question 59. It says item 59 refers to the following pair of similar triangles. Looking at our triangle, we can see AB is equal to 6 and MN is equal to 3, and we can see that is half. So therefore, since everything is the same would be applicable to each length of the triangle. So therefore, if AC is 7, then therefore MO would be half of 7. So 7 centimeters divided by 2 would equal to 3.5 centimeters, which is B. Then on to our final question. It says item 60 refers to the following right angle triangle. Which trigonometric ratio is equal to 4/8? Looking at our triangle, right angle triangle, so therefore we have to use SOHCAHTOA, which is SOHCANTOA. So S sine, C cos, T tan. If we're going to be dealing with x, the angle x, then therefore we'll be using 4 as opposite and 8 as the hypotenuse. And if we'll be using angle Y, let's use a different color. Okay, let's write. So X would be sine. We'll be using sine since it's 4 opposite and 8 hypotenuse. And then if we'll be using the Y, then the 4 would be the adjacent and 8 will still be the hypotenuse because it's the longest side. And that would be cos X, which is adjacent 4 over the hypotenuse 8. Sorry, cos Y, not cos X. Sorry. Good. So these are our two options, either sine X or sine Y. Looking at our answers, sin X. So that is A. A is the only viable option we have, so that is our answer. And we are finished. That is the last question on this paper.